بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. To continue in the study of تذكرة السامع والمتكلم of Ibn Jamaah rahimahullah, we're still in the chapter of regarding honoring the teacher and giving him his honor and respecting his status. We have reached point number 10 regarding this part, and the author rahimahullah says, if he hears his teacher mention a ruling in a different, if he hears his teacher mention a ruling or a new benefit, or he relays something, or he mentions some poetry, and he has memorized that already, he should pay attention to it as one who is benefiting in it, who is benefiting from it at that specific moment. One who is thirsty for it, and one who is pleased and happy with it as if he has never heard it before. At this point, rahimahullah mentioned, the scholars mentioned, without a takalluf, without going into extremes. He pays attention, listens to the point, and remains silent. For perhaps that point that he hears again for a second time or a third time, it increases it becoming clear for him, and he's staying firm. It increases the aspects of becoming clearer to him and staying firm. Then he mentions, Ata said, indeed I hear a narration from a man, and I know it better than him, but I make it seem to him as if I do not know any of it. And this point, Shaykh Abu Amr al-Hajuri mentions that this is a form of a takalluf, going into extremes, and rather, if you know of it, you listen, you pay attention, perhaps it may increase you in clarity and may make it firmer for you, but you don't go to extremes where you act like you are completely ignorant of it. But you obviously respect the point, that you listen and pay attention to it, for it's still a benefit. It's also said that he said, Inna shabab, indeed the youth, they narrate narrations, and I've heard it, and I listen as if I've never heard it, and I've heard it before they have been born. Then he says that if the teacher asks him while mentioning that if he memorized it, he should not reply with yes, due to him making the teacher feel as if he is not in need of him. And he should not say no due to that being a lie, but rather he should say, as some of them said, I'd love to hear it from you, O Shaykh, or that I benefit from it, or my hearing it or understanding of it has been a long time ago, or that it is more correct from your angle. For the teacher, when he mentioned these things, perhaps it may bring him happiness, or he may do it to try to test him and his precision and his memorization, or to make apparent that which he has earned of knowledge. So there's no problem with following the intent of the teacher to please him and to increase his desire in it, and it's not befitting for a student that he repeats the same question regarding that which he knows, or nor to keep asking with that which he's already understood, for that wastes time, and perhaps it may put off the teacher or cause him make him uncomfortable. As Zuhri said that repeating the speech is more severe than the carrying, more severe than carrying of the stones. This point here, that if you know something, that you do not continuously ask about it. This is important to understand. You see some of the brothers, they may have understood a point or may have been clarified to them, but they continuously ask about it. You sit with him in a sitting, you clarify it, then again, another sitting, he asks about it again. Then it's clarified again, and he continuously asks about this point. This is something which is not from good manners. Rather, if you have understood something, you leave it at that, and you understood it. You don't continuously ask about it. As for repeating speech, regarding what Zuhri said, then repeating speech is something which, if it is no need for it, then one leaves it off. But the Prophet needs to repeat his speech 3 times, due to there being a need for it, to make the person understand more. Now, one should not increase from repeating it 3 times, for in that there is no need for that. Rather, one repeats it 3 times and leaves it at that. But if he needs to repeat, he repeats. But if he's not in need of repeating, then there's no need for that. And he said that it's befitting that he should pay attention and understand. And he should not occupy his mind with different thoughts or different statements. And then make the teacher repeat that which he said, because that is bad manners. Rather, he should be from those who pay attention to his speech and his mind is present, so that he hears it and understands it the first moment. And some of the scholars used to say would not repeat for the one who asked them to repeat it as a punishment for them. This is if the person is negligent. If you understand from him that he's negligent and he's not paying attention, and every time you finish he asks you again, what did you say regarding this part and this part, and you see from him he's negligent, then in this case you do not repeat for him. Rather, as a punishment for him, you leave him in that state. But then he says, if he has not heard the speech of the Shaykh due to him being distant away from him, or he does not understand it, he does not understand it correctly, or other reasons, then he can ask the teacher to repeat it to understand it better and to clarify. And he should clarify his excuse as to why he is asking this question kindly. Then he says, point number 11, that he should not precede the teacher in clarifying or explaining an affair, or to answer a question, or other than that. وَلَا يُسَاوِقُهُ فِيهِ, and he should not try to precede him in it, and should not make it known that he is understanding of it as well, or that he has understood it before the teacher. If the teacher tells him in the beginning and seeks from him to answer it or to clarify, then that's no problem. But he should not put himself forth upon the teacher. Rather, he should wait and let the teacher answer. And he said it's befitting that you do not cut off the speech of the teacher, or whatever speech it may be, and you not try to precede him. This word yusawiqu means you should not be like that of the markets, where everyone is speaking above the other one and speaking on top of the other one. Rather, this is not the way one should be with a teacher. Rather, he should be patient until the teacher's speech finishes. Then he can speak, and he should not speak with someone other than the teacher if the teacher is speaking with him, or with a group of those sitting. He should not speak with them unless the teacher has finished speaking. Then he says his mind should be present at all times. Whereas the teacher, if he commands him with something, or asks him about something, or indicates him towards something, he should not repeat to him again, what did you say, what did you intend, and like this. Rather, he should rush to doing what the teacher is asking him, and he should not continue to repeat, make him repeat, or should not say to him, what if it is not as such and such. Then he says, point number 13, and point number 12, if the teacher gives him something, then he should take it with his right hand. And this is something which is the original, the affair, that one takes stuff with his right hand and gives with his right hand. Then he says, if it is a paper, such as that which is read from the fatwas, or a story, or that which is written, legislative knowledge, and other than that, he should spread it out first, then give it to him. He should not give it to him wrapped up. Meaning you have a benefit in a paper, you should not wrap it up and give it to the teacher. Rather, you give it to the teacher opened up. Example, nowadays when the question is sent on in papers, it should be opened up before it's presented to the teacher. This is an example of that. Except if you know that, if you know that the teacher is okay with you giving it to him in that state, with it being wrapped. Then he says, if he takes a paper from the teacher, he should take it right away while it's still open, before the teacher himself wraps it, or before he puts dirt on it. What he intends by dirt on it is because back in the day when they used the ink, they would put dirt on the ink to dry it up. So before they do this, the students would take the paper, so that the teacher is not in need of in doing this. Rather, the one that does this is the student. And then he says, if he gives the teacher a book, he should give it to him already opened up. He should give it to him already opened up, where he's not in need of opening it up and trying to look for the benefit. If the place has a specific spot, then he should give it to him open, and also clarify the spot that is intended. And he should not hide from him from the book. Or other than that, rather he gives it to him in his hand if he is far. He should not make the teacher reach out for it, rather he puts it in front of the teacher and gives it to him in his hand. Or he should stand to him and give it to him, and he should not go on his knees towards him, crawl towards him, and he should sit in front of him, and should not go so close to him, whereas he is touching him and like this, because this is bad manners. I mean, he should not go so close to him, where if the teacher were to stand up, he might hit the book or it might hit him. Rather, he keeps a bit of a distance. He should not place his feet or his hand or any part of his body, any part of his clothing on that of the teacher, or on that of the teacher's pillow, or with the place he is sitting, the sajada, the mat. And he should not indicate towards him with his hand, and should not go close to his face or his chest. And these are due to reasons of when you're reading to the teacher. If he were to get up or move just a bit, if you're too close, he's going to hit the book. Or he might hit you, or he might cause a disturbance for the teacher, and he might not feel comfortable. So you give him a bit of space, and you give him a bit of distance. Then he says that if you're to give him a pen, so they can write with it, then he should give it to him open, so they can write with it right away. So he can write with it right away. An example, if he gives to him a knife, he should give him the knife where the sharp part is facing the student, not the teacher. He should be facing the sharp part, should be facing the teacher, and he should be holding the handle, so that the teacher can grab it from the right side. So meaning that he should not go to him with a knife or anything that may cause harm, with the sharp part facing towards the teacher. Rather he does so, and this is with anyone, generally with anyone other than the teacher as well. When you give them a knife, you don't give them the knife with the sharp part facing the individual. Rather that sharp part faces you, for the shaitan may fool you and something may happen and you may cause a casualty. So for that reason it is that you must carry it with it facing you and not facing the other individual. He said if he gives him a prayer mat to pray upon, he should spread it out for him. He should spread out for him while he intends to pray on it, or to use it. And if he spreads it out, he should roll up the one part, the left edge of it, as is the way of the Sufis. And this way, Shaykh Abu Amr al-Hajuri mentions that this is a custom which is not praiseworthy. Rather, it's from the extremes of the Sufiya, which has no proof for it. And you find this often now in some of our cultures, that when they finish praying, they roll up the left edge of the prayer mat. And this came from the Sufis and the Shia. It did not come from Ahlul Sunnah. There's no evidence for it that they must do this, that they roll up the left part of the prayer mat. Then he said you should not sit with the presence of the teacher on the prayer mat. You should not pray on it if it is a place which is pure. Even if it is a place which is pure, meaning with the presence of the teacher, you should not pray on it. He said that if the teacher stands up, he should stand. He should rush to take the prayer mat, and this is something if the teacher is not able to do so. And he should take it by his hand if he is in need of it. If the teacher is in need of this, he takes it by his hand right away and he picks it up, and he puts forth his shoes, even if that is not hard upon the teacher. Some of these points, as the Prophet ﷺ, he was served by the Sahaba this way as well. As a custom of Ghayr al-Sha'b radiallahu anh, that he said, I went down to take the socks of the Prophet off, the khuf of the Prophet off. فَقَالْ دَعْهُمَا فَإِنِّي أَدْخَلْتُمَا طَاهِرَتَيْنِ. Lead them, for I entered them in a state of purity. Or, as called the hadith of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anh, كان النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يدخل فأحمل أنا وغلام نحو دعوة من ماء وعنزة فيستنجي بالماء. He said that the Prophet entered the place of relieving himself, and me and a young man my age would carry a bowl of water or a jug of water and also a sword, and he would use that jug of water to make istinjat, and the sword he would use as a sutra. So they would serve him. The Sahaba would serve the Prophet and serve him and seek by that nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the author here mentions that when he does is serving the teacher with these different aspects to help him out, he does so intending nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also to get close to the heart of the teacher. So there's no problem with serving the teacher. Rather, it is praiseworthy, especially if he is in need of it. Especially if he's in need of it due to him of old age, and other than this, holding his hand, helping him to different places that he needs to go to, carrying different things, or carrying the books. This is something which is praiseworthy and not dispraiseworthy. And then he says, it is said that 4 things the honorable one will not distance himself from, even if he is a ruler. Even if he is a ruler. And as I mentioned, Harun al-Rashid, he used to serve the scholars. And Allah rose him in status, although he was the leader at the time. He says these 4 affairs are standing from the sitting for his father. And if his father enters, he stands and lets his father sit. Then he says, serving the scholar to learn from him. And then he says, number 3, ask him about that which you do not know. And number 4, serving the guest. Serving the guest. These 4 things, the honorable one does not distance himself from and does not say no to doing them. 1, he stands for his father when his father comes, and he stands from his place of sitting for his father, or he gets off his place sitting for his father. Number 2, he serves the scholars to learn from them. Number 3, he asks about that which he does not know of. And number 4, he serves the guests. He serves the guests. Now in this is honor and one being raised, and in the opposite of it is one being put down. For not serving the teacher to benefit from him, it will make you distance yourself from the knowledge. And the scholars have mentioned those who have had bad manners with the teachers, and they do not serve them, rather they are harmful towards them, they don't succeed in studies. They do not succeed in their studies. And those who do not ask about that which they are ignorant of, rather they are arrogant and do not want to learn, they do not succeed either. So these are important points that we have to understand, that these points, although we're learning regarding the teacher and how we should interact with the teacher, in reality some of these points are how we should also interact with others as well, and with the people around us. And that we should be from those who have good manners with our teacher and with those around us. And we shouldn't do certain things that may cause discomfort or harm. Example, when he mentioned here that you do not go too close to the teacher. Somebody you find when you're speaking, they come very close to you, and it causes a severe discomfort. Whereas they say it's not your comfort zone. So some of these manners that we're learning here, it's important to understand that yes, it's with the teacher, but also with other than the teacher as well, we can implement them. Such as not giving the knife to them while the sharp side is facing him. Rather, we give with the sharp side facing us. And like this, so that no harm is caused. Similarly, as he mentioned, from the points that he mentioned, is not asking too much about the same thing. You know of it already. It's already been explained to you, but you keep asking, constantly asking, and causing harm. And like this. So these points, it's important for us to understand and pay attention to these points, for we can benefit from these points in our way of dealing with the teacher, and our manners towards the teacher, but also our manners towards others, and our manners in of ourselves. So it's important that we comprehend these points and understand them. And we'll stop with this inshallah. I'll continue next week. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.